All right, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the Band-Aid on the finger. I'm sorry you're going to see throughout the whole video. Apparently, my insurance company decided that money wasn't enough this time, and they sent the bill, which was out for blood, in the form of a paper cut really deep under my fingernail. But let's get started anyway. Hey, painting pals. Welcome back to Mandy's Minis. And as you know, today we're talking about more OSL. And I'm actually really excited for this one because what I have crafted for you today is not an exact replica, but a similar situation of when OSL really clicked in my head and I actually understood how to do it. And it's hopefully going to be very easy for you and very fast. So, you know, I like to keep my tutorials as short as possible. Doesn't always work, but we're going to try. And these fun little runes carved into her skin, we're going to make them glow. Now, the first time I did a really good OSL that made me understand it was a tree lord, which had swirls in the bark, kind of like this. And I decided I wanted to make them glow with OSL, green OSL. So we're actually using the exact recipe. And what I want you to do is look at this part here. And that's what we're going for, that nice glowing look. And how we're going to start with that is by putting down a base color in all of the runes. And this particular color is Reaper's Ghostfire. This is one of my favorite colors, and it's kind of my signature OSL. I do it so often. Or at least I did for a long time. I've kind of moved away from doing a whole lot of OSL just with what commissions have come up and things like that. But I'm just going to put this in here. And while I do, I will tell you a little bit more about some of the painting choices and why this is all going to work really well and look so cool in such an easy manner. And the first of that starts with how she's been painted. Now, I painted her up on a live stream. It was actually yesterday's live stream. So for those of you who saw it, great, awesome. I know a lot of you like to watch the replays, and I really appreciate that as well, even if you can't join us live. But I do encourage it because I love answering questions and chatting with you. And we're on Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So we stream on both Twitch and YouTube. So you can pick your favorite platform and join us there. And we look forward to seeing you. And if you want to continue watching the replays, they'll still be available. Don't worry. I'm not going to take that away, as I know sometimes those dates don't work. All right. So the big thing that's going to help with this is the fact that her skin is a dark color. OSL works via contrast. So having a dark environment, in this case, her dark skin, in the case of my tree lord, I painted him up as a night scene. So it was, again, very dark color scheme. And what that does is allows the OSL to really pop off of it. If you have a bright scene and you try to put something else bright in it, it's like using a flashlight with the lights on. It works. I mean, you can see that the light is brighter than the rest of the room, but it's not going to be as bright or effective as if the lights were off. So that's why you're seeing a smidge of glow here, because it is the bright against that dark, but it's not really going to be a significant glow until we get to the last step. And that's really where it all kicked off for me and when it worked, because I was getting so frustrated that it wasn't glowing. Now, again, I was using a night scene, so it was a dark blue, not as much contrast as her black skin was giving. So I wasn't even getting this much of a glow, and I was getting frustrated. Now, I wasn't at this step. I was at the next step when I started getting frustrated, but That's essentially where we are. Now, I don't want to have you sit and watch me do every single one of these, but I do want to point out, while I am doing this, that just because it's a dark environment doesn't mean you can't take the highlights all the way up. So if you look, her shoulder has a pretty high highlight on it. Her forehead, her cheeks, they go up to white, but she still reads as a black-skinned character. I'm not sure if she's technically a drow anymore since I made her hair purple instead of white, but she could be a drow. She initially was, this is from White Werewolf Tavern, and she initially was a tiefling, but I didn't like the horns, so we cut them off and used a milliput to make her hair and kind of fill in that hole where the horns were. So just because I didn't want to do horns on her. That's one of the nice things about the models. You can completely customize it and make it your own. You don't have to use just what's given to you, but you can if you want to. So, all right, that's definitely enough of that. So now what we're going to do, I made a mess. I'm going to have to clean that up. All right, but we're going to move on to the next step right now. We're going to do some vampiric mist. So this is our white. And I'm sure you guys have all heard, in order to do OSL, you put white in the center. That's because light works in reverse. Instead of going, I'm actually going to switch to my detail brush for this, because that's going to be a small little bit. But the source of the light is what's the brightest. And so that's what's going to be white. So in a case of something like this, we're going to be looking at the middle. And I'm going to go for this one down here because it looks easiest to do on camera. But it's not dry yet. Okay. It's still cooperating a bit. Okay, so I'm putting the white inside. And that is making it a little bit brighter. Since, the source of the light is from inside the room. All right, so there we go. And it made absolutely no difference whatsoever. You really can't even tell. It's kind of useless. But let's just give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it just needs a second coat. I mean, always 2 thin coats, right? So let's get that in here. Much brighter. Second coat always comes in brighter and looks a little bit better. And that's also another reason why we do multiple coats, to get the opacity up and to really make those colors look good. But once again, we're still not really getting there. And that's because we're missing the big important key. And that is the last step. That's right. I said last step. It is that easy, guys. And that is to add a darker green to the outside. As light moves out, it gets darker and fades as it fades. So yes, I'm doing a bright green. This isn't a dark green by any means. But by putting the darker green against the lighter green, we're making it pop even more. And yes, the black was doing that. That's what you were seeing with the little bit of glow we were getting. But this one is going to look so much better and honestly be a bit cleaner once I finish and clean it all up, because I am being a little messy. Part of that is just because of being on camera. And so I'm going to come back in here and do a little bit of cleanup. I really should be waiting till this dries. Get the hair off the brush. Okay, and now you can see a big difference between the glow on this one versus the glow on that one. It really makes a difference. You can't shortcut the dark. Just because, yes, you can rely on that black a little bit, but doing it the full 3-step way and getting it up to this sort of brightness is really going to help sell the glow a lot better and make your OSL sing just a little bit more. and look a little bit more magical. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up all the way around, including the touch-ups on her shoulder that I horribly messed up and now have to fix with a gradient. So yes, including making the gradient to blend that back in. So that's going to be fun. That's okay. I'm going to take that on right about now, and our wonderful editors will take you over to final photos. And yes, look at that. We're already done. Under 15 minutes of tutorial on how to do OSL. Fast, easy. I really hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned a lot. I hope this helps you. If so, let me know in the comments. If it didn't help and maybe you do still know how to do OSL, but this just wasn't the way that you learned, let us know how you did learn. I'm always interested in sharing information and tips, and I would love to hear how you handle your OSL. Thank you again so much for watching. I always appreciate it. We appreciate all the support from all of our viewers, but I do have to give a special thank you to our patrons. I can't forget that. Absolutely love you guys. And thank you again for your extra support. That's it for this one. I want to keep it as short as possible. So until next time, have fun and keep creating.